Hey, let's talk a little bit about old versus new. I get that question a lot. Most of the time, people that ask me the question are beginners. Obviously, they don't know what to choose. They're new. They want to make sure that they get the best machine possible to start making beats. It's really a hard question to answer. I'll give you my thoughts, man, and hopefully you'll make a wise decision. The perfect outfit to use, man. This is Cooking Soul. Go and check his merch. He has wonderful stuff on there. Got my Excel right here. This was my first MPC. So yeah, let's talk a little bit about this. You know, I have to say, man, to start, these are two completely different machines. Like, you really can't compare the new with the old. And I'm using the XL and the X to compare, but really this goes, I think, for the rest of the machines as well. You know, they're really different machines at this point. Like, you have so much inside this kind of becomes really a DAW inside of a box, while this is specifically a sampler. It samples, you chop it, and you sequence it, and it's very, very simple. It's probably one of the strengths of the machine is that you get focused into what you're doing. Like, there isn't a bunch of stuff that you get lost when you're making music. Oh, should I do this? Should I do that? No, you kind of focus on what you have and you work with it. They're meant for a very specific job, and they do that job, and that's it. Done. These new ones, I mean, you can do whatever you want with these, man. Like, sampling is super easy, cutting samples is super easy. Plus, then you have the world of plugins inside it. I mean, there's just so much inside it. As I said, it becomes like a full DAW. I think the most important thing that you need to ask yourself is, like, what type of music you want to make. That's the most important thing. Like, what do you want to do? Do you just want to work with samples? Or do you want to work with external gear as well? Do you want to play keys as well? How do you see yourself making music? Because if you're going to get this, I don't want to say that you can only sample with this machine because you have MIDI tracks and you can control external gear with this as well. It's much easier to work with this if you want to control your studio, if you want to control a bunch of synths, and if you want to sample from different sources. I mean, you have CV outs as well. This is way better if you want it to be the center of your studio. I would get this if I was just making very simple, minimalistic beats with chopping some samples and making a beat. If that's what you want, you know, probably that's what you should get. It might inspire you a lot. You might look at it and go, damn it looks so nice. I really want to work with it, and I want to make lo-fi, I want to make hip hop, I want to make those type of beats. So those are the ones that I should get. I get it. I get what you're saying, and it probably is. Probably that's the machine for you. There's a very important point to make. I think you should always get the machine that inspires you, you know? I want to have machines in my studio that inspire me, that I look at it and I'll go like, damn it, I want to make a beat with that baby today. That's what I want to have in my studio, you know? So don't force yourself to get a machine just because that's a better machine, it has more functions, or you know, it has more tools to help you make a great beat. I think go for the machine that inspires you. But I have to stress this as well, that, you know, if you're a beginner, and this is one of the things I always tell beginners, like if you're starting, just try to understand what's available to you. What are the tools to make beats, you know? you don't want to start and be behind everybody on that. You want to start and know what tools you have. It's kind of hard for you to start and go to these ones in 2021. Maybe you should learn a DAW first. Learn that you have these amount of tools to help you make a beat. Just learn what the tools are available in 2021. Then you can make a wise decision into choosing the old ones, because you kind of just prefer to work that way. Okay, but first, I always say this: if you're a beginner, go and get a new MPC, one of the new ones, like the MPC One, MPC Live, the X. Or maybe just download the software. If you want to try the MPC workflow, just download the software. It's free. MPC Beats, if I'm not mistaken, it's the MPC Beats software. It's free. You can also buy like an MPC Studio, which should be fairly cheap by now, and work with that for like a month or 2 months or a year and try out the MPC workflow. If you're a beginner, don't go for the old ones. Go for the new ones first. Learn what the tools are in 2021, because man, it's a huge difference between this and that. Okay. That being said, you have a bunch of stuff that you can do with these ones, right? So many features, so many tools, plugins, arpeggiators, blah, blah, blah. So much stuff. Here, it's way easier for you to get lost because you have so many possibilities. Most of the times you end up making stuff that you don't even like, which is true. You end up doing things that you don't like because you're just trying out things, While here you kind of stay focused on what the music is. That being said, at the same time, you can limit yourself. Like, you don't have to use all the functions inside of the machine. Like, I literally might not use like 50% of the stuff that's inside this, okay? Just because I don't make synth music that much. I want to do it, but I always prefer to work with samples. So there's so many things inside this that I just don't use, and sometimes I ask myself, why have this if you just sample and cut samples and sequence? Why have this? Well, because it has a lot of things that make my life way easier. It has a lot of filters inside. It has EQs, it has compressors. This one only has one filter. Other old MPCs might have more than one filter. I'm not sure. They probably do. I know the 2500 had high pass as well, band pass. 4000 is different, 5000 is different. All these old MPCs have something to them that the other ones don't have. But this one here is way simple. It's a very simple machine. I just really like working with this because it does offer me that possibility of choosing between different filters. I just can color my samples always so easily that I find it hard to do here on the XL. That's one of the reasons why I really like this, and I couldn't live without one of these, because it's so easy to work with. I sample a lot and I create sound packs and stuff like that, so which means I need to be cutting samples all the time. I would never be able to do that here. I couldn't. It's so hard to comparing it. It's just so hard with the amount of work that I do here. It's just I would never be able to do it here on the XL. Keep in mind of this as well, if you want to get one of these old MPCs, is that they're not just expensive to buy. Sometimes the buttons stop working, which means you need to replace them, and these parts for these old machines cost a bit of money. They're harder to find, and sometimes you really can't find them anywhere unless you ship them overseas or something like that, and you spend a lot of money trying to refurbish your machine, or you have to send your machine over to someone that knows what they're doing, problems with the screen. Sometimes you need to replace the screen. Problems with the pads that they double trigger when you hit them. Problem with the F keys. There's always problems happening with these old machines, and you always end up spending a lot more money than you thought. So just keep that in mind. These are old machines, and if you want to keep them working, you have to spend some money on them time to time, and that's it. I mean, like, there really isn't a good versus the bad, because as I said, I think that they're just different machines. At this point, like, you can't really compare the old with the new. Always think about them as separate machines. They're different, okay? And you should focus on the type of music that you want to make, how you see yourself making the beats. External gear, no external gear, just using samples. Is having compressors part of the workflow they want to create? All these things, these are the questions that you need to make. I hope you guys took something out of the video. If you got any questions, put them in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.